Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good to see you again. Today, I'm going to be talking about the variability of a distribution in statistics. So let's get started. There are two ways to describe variability. Either you describe the range, which is the distance from the maximum point, from the minimum point to the maximum point. Or there's interquartile range, which describes the range from the 25th percentile to the 75th percentile. So the middle 50% of points. So let's show this on a box plot, because a box plot shows pretty well percentiles. So this first little line here is 25%. This first box, 25%. Second box, 25%. This third box, in this last line is 25%. So this first box is called quartile 1. And then the other one's called quartile 3. And then this line in the middle between the boxes is the median, so the 50th percentile. And then what this star means in a box plot is that there is an outlier. And I think this is important to show when using range, that outliers are like big deals with range. All right, so the range, as I said, is the max minus the min, right? But if you did this outlier minus the minimum, you'd have a huge range, right? And the range of this doesn't really show like the good variability of the graph, right? This is like double the, maybe over double the size of like the graph because the outliers there, right? You could do something called like a trim. You could just like trim down the range a little bit, but I wouldn't. So a lot of people like using range because it's super simple. It's just max minus min. You're like, oh, there's the range. And you're like, oh, this one's more variable than the other one because it's got a bigger range. But maybe one just has like a high outlier. So it might not be so true, but you can use range if you want. But I prefer using the interquartile range because you also need that for a ton of other things in statistics. So it's just good to find. So what the box plot here does is show me the quartiles. So quarter 1 starts here at 25%. Then there's the median in the middle of them. And then quartile 3 starts at 70, ends at 75%. So this is 75% of the 75 percentile minus 25 percentile. This is 25 percentile. Gives you the middle 50th percentile, right? Which is good because the middle 50% of points should be closest together. So what the interquartile range does is it says quarter 3 minus quarter 1 is the interquartile range. And that gives you the variability of the middle 50%. And usually that is good enough to say this graph's more variable than this graph because the IQR is greater in graph X than in graph Y. And it's like, well, if the middle 50% of points in one is way more variable, it's going to have a way higher IQR. And you're like, I can clearly see why this one's more variable. The middle 50% of points just aren't close. But in range, one could be like super close, like there's so many points, and then there's an outlier. And that range is bigger than one that's like right skewed. We're like, okay. Well, I hope this video was helpful. I prefer using IQR, but you could use range as well if you want to. IQR shows like a higher level of understanding. Okay, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if this was helpful. And please comment if you have any questions. Thank you.